Hi everybody, this is Dave Vellante and welcome to this RSAC preview. And I'm really excited to have two key folks from RSAC, Linda Gray. Martin is the Senior Vice President of RSAC Conference, and Britta Glade, good friend of theCUBE from a long time back, Senior Vice President of Content and Communities, RSAC. Folks, welcome to theCUBE and welcome to this preview.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
It's great to be here with you again, Dave.
You bet. I mean, we are so excited. I remember this budding relationship with the conference organizers. We support this event with our SiliconANGLE media, with theCUBE, with our growing research community. And you guys have just been wonderful partners setting up. Media Row is it's the #1 cybersecurity conference in the industry. And it's just awesome that it's in Moscone. They'll basically take over the city. We have evening events, of course, all the community gathers. You guys just announced the keynote speakers. I mean, I've got the list here. It's amazing. Some big names. I wonder if we could just chat about some of them. Some folks, I mean, you've got some celebrities, Jamie Foxx, you got Ron Howard, Irvin Magic Johnson. I can't tell you how many times Magic Johnson has broken my heart as a Celtics fan. You must be so excited.
Yeah, we are really excited. So let me jump in, and then Britta, I know that you'll be able to talk about the South Stage keynote. So as in previous years, we have 2 keynote stages. So the West Stage features sponsor keynotes, panels. We have our guest speakers, some of whom you just highlighted. And then new for this year, we are moving our South Stage keynote program to the Yerba Buena Center for the Arts, which is adjacent to Moscone North. We're using the beautiful theater that is part of that complex over there. So then we have 1 keynote stage over there, and that will be dedicated more to kind of some of the industry visions and the leading experts that we're so lucky to have come and speak at the conference. So on the West Stage, just to run through a few names for you, even though you've touched on some of the guest speakers. Hugh Thompson, our executive chairman, the executive chairman of RSAC, will kick things off as he did last year. Then we will listen to some of the leading sponsors from our Diamond and Platinum sponsors. And then, of course, we have some guest speakers. I also want to give a shout out to our friends at SANS. They are going to be running their panel that they've run for several years now on identifying some of the latest and greatest attacks that are out there. It's always a real highlight of the keynote program. But over and above that, as you mentioned, we have Academy Award-winning filmmaker Ron Howard, who is going to be interviewed actually by his daughter. Britta and I are tickled pink by this. We love it. I mean, she is a famous actor and director herself, but they obviously have a very close bond. Ron Howard is such an incredible storyteller and has just directed some of the most amazing movies out there. Like, there's such a huge back catalogue, and I think people are going to find his keynote really inspiring, especially with all the advances in technology and AI in the movie business. So that is definitely going to be a highlight. You mentioned Magic Johnson. He is going to be taking our keynote stage on the Wednesday morning. We are super excited about this. He's such a big, warm, enthusiastic character, and he has a lot of speaking credibility, so we are really excited for him to share his insights with our audience. And then you also mentioned our closing celebration, so the second year of this. We are so thrilled to be able to welcome award-winning actor, singer, and comedian Jamie Foxx, who is going to be in conversation with Hugh Thompson. And we also have a few interesting musical highlights accompanying Jamie. So we have a DJ called DJ Irie, who's going to be kicking things off, who incidentally is a friend of Jamie's. And then we are going to be hearing from a local collective from San Francisco. We love to champion local talent, Jazz Mafia, who are also going to be doing a short set. So it really is a true celebration of the community and of the industry. And we hope people can enjoy the close to the conference.
Yeah, thank you for that, Linda. And Britta, I mean, the content program, the evolution of the content at RSAC just been amazing. I mean, you must be super pleased with the outcome this year.
I am. And you know what I love about it, Dave, is all of these experts who choose RSA Conference as the place where they're going to connect with the community. We really are so lucky in the cybersecurity industry with the goodness, with the willingness to build, to share, to communicate. Not just with peers, but with the next generation as well, right? So we have over 400 sessions, over 600 speakers who will be participating from the keynote stages, as Linda just mentioned, to track level sessions, to birds of a feather, to learning labs, to capture the flag, to sandbox sessions. There really is something for everyone at RSAC.
Yeah, and as an attendee for the last several years at RSAC, the struggle is you can't go physically to all the keynotes. So how does one, interact post event? It must be off the charts. I mean, I spend, literally months watching content. So what are the options
Right.
for people?
Yeah, well, fortunately, on the West Stage keynotes anyway, we do live stream them. I will caveat that by saying some of our guest speakers, we're not permitted to live stream, but a good majority of the sessions are. So people who can't be there can actually catch up on the action live as it plays out. And then we also record the majority of our track sessions, which are available. I think it's within 4 hours of them being recorded, of going out live, Britta, right?
Indeed, indeed. And Dave, I like the question because you are implying, hey, folks, make sure to have a plan with
Yes.
when you go to conference. There's these 400 sessions. You're going to choose where you're going to be. We have reserve a seat, which we highly recommend. But then also, it's that great catalog, that library of content that can be followed up in the hours, days, weeks, months beyond RSAC to really enhance and enrich your understanding of the industry.
And I would also suggest, I think that's great advice, just plan out your week, because most of my time is spent in Moscone West, and my recommendation is don't try to go fight the crowds and be, sitting. It's awesome when you can actually get a great seat in the main keynote session, but you guys do such a great job of, where it's allowed, of broadcasting throughout the venue. And so there are a lot of places where you can, in a relaxed setting, actually absorb the content.
Yeah, yeah, we do. We have overflow screens, as we call them, within Moscone West, and we have some lounges. So if you, like you said, if you don't want to battle the crowds, which is totally understandable, you should be able to find a seat somewhere else on level 2 and 3 of Moscone West. And like I said before, we live stream it too. So
Now I have to ask you guys about the branding
yeah.
and the evolution of the brand. How did that come about, and what can you share about RSAC conference brand?
Yeah, absolutely. So we announced a brand refresh back in January. So, we often say that the conference is the convening authority for the industry. It's the who's who of cybersecurity getting together each year. But we also saw the need for year-round learning and the importance of collaboration and connection within the industry. And I think, the letters RSA have become so iconic and so synonymous with the conference. And we just decided it was time. We need to add to that legacy. So the C in RSAC is where we've become more than a conference. We are the epicenter of content, connection, culture, conversation, collaboration. It's great. There's so many C words that fit into this, but above all, it's community. So everything we do is for the community and by the community to enable collaboration and to foster growth. And that's really why we came across we decided to do the brand refresh. Our mission at RSAC is to unite and empower the world's cybersecurity community in order to create a safer society, which is a lofty goal, but that's where all our hearts lie. And that is indeed what we are doing now.
So,
So sorry.
so Linda, follow-up question. So I was going to ask you, what is that brand promise? And that is, it's all
Yeah.
about creating a safer society. I wonder if you could expand on that
It
brand
is.
promise a little bit.
Yeah. And so earlier this month, we announced our membership platform. So, it includes capabilities that will allow cyber and tech professionals to continuously learn, collaborate, and communicate to meet the needs of, this industry that is so rapidly changing. So, the platform, just some of the exclusive features that it includes are exclusive content, a dedicated cybersecurity AI co-pilot, which sounds very fancy. I love that one. Secure messaging and connections, and an opportunity to discuss trending and pressing topics in groups. So we have groups where people can get together with like-minded peers and ask questions, all while staying up to date on the latest and greatest news within the industry. So Britta, I don't know if I've missed anything, and if you want to throw anything into that, because I know you're very intimately involved on the content side.
Yes, which we're very excited about. And one of the things, Dave, to your question with safer society, which sounds lofty, right? But truly, I think that's really what all of us as cybersecurity professionals have in our heart. That's why we're here, right? Is making sure we are engaging with and interacting with different parts of our world. It's people from law, it's people from policy, it's developers, it's academics, this great ecosystem that comprises the whole world of cybersecurity. It's important these conversations happen. It's important that we disagree with one another. It's important that we explore nuances. It's important that we understand different perspectives. And that's what conference has always had, as a cornerstone of what we do. It's why we bring together all these very diverse people with very different backgrounds and perspectives. And now we have this year-round means of continuing these conversations and information and exploration goals.
Yeah, and you're underscoring the diverse and rich texture of the community, and it's communities within the community, and that's something that has evolved over time. And then something else you said, Britta, I know in our own reporting and broadcasting, you notice, like you said, sometimes you debate, sometimes you don't always agree, and our role is to, tell the truth, get it out there. And it's really interesting to juxtapose, for instance, the messaging that you get out of the technology community and the reality on the ground from the practitioners. The conference is the place to bring that together and help, create a safer society.
Absolutely.
That's
And
it.
that's, when our program committee puts together and makes selections for sessions, they look hard at the different perspectives being brought to bear. They love the enterprise practitioners with okay, you're hearing this from the vendor. This is actually what our experience is. Here's, the good, the bad, the ugly that we've been through. That's the beauty of RSAC. That's the beauty of the conversations that take place officially and unofficially. It's a conversation in the line. It's people sitting and waiting for a session to start that are sharing things. It's the discussions that we see emerging in the groups that Linda discussed on the platform. These are very, very important conversations that we need to continue having as an industry to again, achieve that safer society. It's very important the work that we do as a community.
Right.
And of course, the tongue in cheek, everybody jokes, it could be RSAIC and AI. Just having observed over the last 3 years, the rapid pace of the impact that AI has had on the cybersecurity industry, generally on architectures, on the security operations center, obviously on the technology community at large. And it's been really interesting to see how that has evolved and how real that has become. We have our own series on AI on theCUBE and a number of others, but that is going to be, the #1 topic on people's minds, is it not?
100%. I know that from looking through the content, even when the call for speakers process started. Hugh will be covering some interesting elements here in his keynote. So you heard it here first, right? A little preview for all of you. We have many, many keynote speakers who are speaking to AI. We have track level sessions. I'm sure we've got many vendors on the floor. There's a lot happening in this space so quickly. And I like the nuances that will be explored, the safety conversations, the policy conversations, the organizational changes, the agentic AI. That's a big one this year. So you're dead on right, Dave. This is going to be a big theme at RSAC, likely for years to come.
And and there's basically events and communities within the communities. I said, I know in our own little world in theCUBE, we have our CEO series, George Kurtz, folks like Jay Chaudhry. I know George is one of the keynote speakers. We have our cyber impact, our AI impact on cyber. We have our CISO series. We have our threat hunter series. And these are all little events within the event. We also have an event with the New York Stock Exchange on Monday night. We're doing theCUBE After Dark down at the pier. And multiply that by 1,000, and that's what's happening at RSAC conference. Linda and Britta, I'll give you guys the last word. Linda, why don't you give us your final thoughts, and then Britta, bring us home.
Yeah, so I just wanted to give a little shout out to our theme this year, because I think, listening to this conversation, everything you've said, everything we've talked about, it's kind of where we're all at. So the theme this year is Many Voices, One Community. So as we've talked about, community is really at the heart of everything that we do. And I think this theme really underscores and amplifies that. And, the theme really celebrates that, we're all different. We've all got different experiences. We've all got different strengths. We've all got different perspectives. But unless we're unified together, we're not going to be able to achieve our goals. So by coming to RSA conference, and hopefully what RSA conference and our future mission will do is that we will unite people. We will bring together the industry, and we will help create a safer society.
Thank you, Linda. What's so interesting about that, Britta, is I remember 3 years ago, one of the keynote themes was the industry has an identity crisis. And now listening to Linda talk about, many voices, one community, I think AI was a catalyst to bring this industry together, not only public policymakers, but venture capitalists, technology vendors, practitioners, as that one community pulling for the same objectives. Britta, give us your final thoughts.
100%. And drafting off of that, as well as your point, Dave, of all these different, micro communities, if you will, within it, I would strongly encourage people to come out of your comfort zone in some of the conversations that you have. You may be a developer. Don't just hang out with the developers. Engage in a conversation with the policymaker. Discover some of the nuances that one of the legal practitioners is dealing with. This community thrives when it takes in different perspectives, when it explores different issues, when it challenges norms. This is what makes us strong. So come out of your comfort zone, go to a session that maybe you wouldn't have thought would naturally, land on your area of focus, and engage in some different conversations, because we are all stronger when we take in these different perspectives, and we strengthen others as well. That's the power of community, and that's the power of RSAC.
Well, folks, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Thank you for your partnership. We really appreciate the entire SiliconANGLE and theCUBE community. We also appreciate the way in which you invite media and analysts, and you're very much an open community, and really appreciate the collaboration. So thank you so much.
Thank
It is
you.
our
We look forward to
pleasure.
seeing you.
All right, RSAC conference, April 28th to May 1st in San Francisco. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for watching. This is Dave Vellante, and we'll see you at RSAC Conference 2025.